and she says, let me in. Let me into the underworld. I think because what it is she's trying to go. The story is the older one was Inanna's descent. And Inanna's husband is fallen into the underworld, almost like the whole Isis and Osiris thing. And as a result, Ishtar, it's later Ishtar, but earlier it was Inanna. So you can just put Inanna's descent or Ishtar's descent. But I think the one that's made mention is in Ishtar's descent. And so she goes in and says, listen, open up the underworld for me. I need to get in, basically to see her husband, to try to bring him back and whatever. So what happens here is she makes this claim. Now, this is the goddess. This is nothing but a Mesopotamian form of Aset, Isis. Yeah. So she makes this form. She says, let me in, or I will rip the bolts off of the doors of the underworld, and the dead will walk the earth again and will outnumber the living. You see, outnumber the living. Yeah. You see, so we're really getting into some stuff, and that's why this whole ancestral thing we're talking about tonight is very important, because the simple fact here is we've now made contact with the ancestors on the other side, and that is the destiny. I talked about it in the Baltimore lecture, and I'm going to go through this tonight here, because that's what we're talking about, making this contact with the ancestors on the other side. So let me give you some other stuff that's actually happening. You all right?
All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what you need to do is limit the amount of soy products, because soy now is in everything. It's in toothpaste, chewing gum, all your bread, all your cakes. Everything has soy lecithin in it, or soybean oil. Now, soy is a product that what happens here is you can't just not eat because it's in everything. We just have to, you got to start reading the labels.
Right.
And limit your intake. Because what soy does, they have already called it, they call it a carcinogen. Just like last time we talked, I think, they made the cell phone a carcinogen. Now, anybody know what a carcinogen is? It means it causes cancer.
Yeah.
Well, soy, come to find out, it causes a brain cancer. Or the reason why they are putting soy in everything is because they're trying to attack the pineal gland. You see, they're trying to attack the pineal gland. So you're going to have to limit the amount of soy, the amount of soy, because it's a carcinogen, but it causes a brain cancer. You see, it causes a brain cancer. You see what I'm saying? So this is very key on how this thing is going down. Now, let me give you some other information. Now, like I said, okay, let me give my little infomercial right quick. We have the picture packet. If you don't have that, it's an amazing thing. It's up to close to 70 pictures. We have and so it was interesting here. The guards would show up and say, "No, you need to put me in the package." Put me in the package. So the last one to show up was one called Nega Kanya, Kanya, Nega Kanya, Nega Kanya. We're going to be going. We're going to be dealing with the Nagars in New York on the 12th. So we're going to be dealing with the Nagars. It's very key. But right now, to prepare yourself, you need to rent a movie called Hiss. Hiss is a movie on the Nagars. And it's about this movie. It's a white guy goes to India. He goes to India, and he finds two serpents mating, cobras. He takes the male cobra, and once he takes the male cobra, it will force the female cobra to turn into a human, to go look for her mate. Once he can get the female cobra, and she has a pearl within her that is for immortality. Now, this story, this serpent tortuous serpent, this ravenous serpent with the pearl, or the serpent that has the Holy Grail. Ultimately, they're talking about is the pineal gland and melanin and that whole thing. And the serpent is the kundalini. So it's a metaphysical story. But it's a movie called Hiss, and it's out now. We're going to be dealing with the Nagars, but there was a picture of a Nagar that showed up called Nagar Kanya. And so she showed up and immediately got into the picture packet. So for the people, so we got picture packets. We have the third eye mirror. We have the third eye mirror that and so we have the third eye mirror. We still have the stimulus packages and stuff like that because this is what Michael Moore said. This is why it's key for the people who don't have the stimulus package to get it.
Right.
Why? Because number one, this angelic force is real powerful. That's that realm I entered into and had to get off the meat. Now, I don't suggest you do that and stuff. And if you have not been a vegetarian, you do that on your own time. That's not what I'm talking about here. I was just telling you my experience on what I am. So, there's a stimulus package. The stimulus package, you're going to really need that soon because this is what's happening. Michael Moore was on Piers Morgan. I think he was on Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan, the new British guy that took Larry King's spot on CNN. And they had something like a town meeting. And he was talking, and so the white people are complaining that they can't get the banks now. After they got bailed out, they're holding on to the money. They're not giving out loans. I say, well, welcome white people, welcome to the party, because they never gave us out no damn loans. You see, they when I first got to Atlanta, they was taking up each year, each Sunday, the churches were taking up $10 million. You say. Every Sunday, the churches would take up $10 million. Now, if anybody ever been here and stuff, there's a church literally on each corner. You see, on each corner, damn near. So they was taking up, and this is just the black churches. And so that was in 1986. They was taking up $10 million, and they was amongst these churches, they would put this money in the banks on Monday morning, and on Tuesday, a black person come and couldn't get no goddamn loans. You see what I'm saying? Now, if they were taking up $10 million when I first came in 1986, when I first came to Atlanta, when I first moved here, what do you think they're now doing? They're now up to maybe $50 million with all this prosperity stuff and T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar and all them. So if they were taking up $10 million 26 years ago, what you think they're now taking in and can't get loans from banks? So now all of a sudden, the white folks are hurting because they can't get loans because the banks are holding on to it. And this is what Michael Moore said. Michael Moore said they're scared. They're holding on to the money. He said they're waiting for the other shoe to drop, which means you had that meltdown in 2008 and that whole recession thing. They say they're going to have a double dip on that shit, and the other shoe going to drop, and they're holding on to the money. You see what I'm saying? Because they're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So you're going to need these spiritual checks so that these spirits can provide for you. Now, and you see what I'm saying? So this is the reason why the angelic host came with this. Now, so you got the stimulus package. We got the DVDs. You're going to need that black mirror because that black mirror is key for the 2012, you see, and everything with the pineal gland and stuff like that. So you need to get these particular products. Now, it's interesting here. I got some other things that I'm getting ready to do so we can really get some money. Now, check this out. I got these other things, these angelic seals. The angelic seals. Now, the first angelic seal, so you can start inquiring about this very soon when you call 678-358-1055, 678-358-1055. Now, we got these angelic seals. We got a Kabbalah money seal created to swiftly banish all monetary and financial worries. Its ownership bestows the angelic gift of true financial security. We're going to have that for you. We also have a secret Kabbalistic good fortune talisman, because we all need some damn good luck, you see. And this particular one is without a doubt the most potent, highly successful good luck and fortune seal of all times. Its ownership guarantees a lifetime of good fortune, well-being, pleasure, and true prosperity. Okay, the other one is a protection amulet, a protection seal. It's the most powerful seal in the world on protection. So we got 1, 2, 3, and the other one is a seal for the 7 angels. Invite the 7 angels to aid with the traditional talisman for the 7 angels. Now, why I'm talking about these angels? Because what I'm going to get into tonight is going to bring this stuff around. So that's, call and inquire. It's going to be 4 of these seals on 11 by 17. And you call for 678-358-1055. Get these particular products and stuff like that. And stuff like that. Now, let me explain why we do this. See, first of all, and I talked about this, Smallville was a show that came on. It aired right after 9/11, and it was about the lifetime of Superman growing up in a small town. Yeah. So it ran for 10 years, and this spring was the last show. The last show aired this spring for 10 years. And he grew into a man on the show. Now, it's interesting here because one of the shows, Lois Lane went to an Egyptian exhibit, and she took this amulet of Isis so she could study it and report on it. She borrowed it, so because she could report on it in the paper. When she took the amulet, Isis came through, or Aset came through, and possessed her. Aset went back into the museum and was trying to find a sarcophagus with the ashes of Osiris. And she was going to do this ritual, and so she used Superman, Clark Kent at the time, and to do a ritual to restore and to turn Clark Kent into Osiris. Of course, they stopped the ritual or whatever type thing. No, they already did the doggone ritual. But let me tell you what the deal is. So let me tell you what's up. That's in the last. I got all 9 episodes. I'm waiting for the 10th box set to come out, and it's coming out one day after my birthday, on November the 29th. But November the 29th. But now check this out. Come to find out that the people who put Superman together in the 1930s, they got a channel, and the S on his chest was really meant for Sirius, the star Sirius. But what happened was they named it Superman because they got another channel to name it Superman because at that particular time, Sirius is very important to all Masonic lodges. Not the Black Lodge. That's just some like I say, drinking liquor and driving cab. That's all that is, a little, Black Buffalo Lodge. But I'm talking about these white Masons. They got a star in every lodge that represents the star Sirius. The star Sirius. And they have and so all of this stuff, they even got the Fox Theater here in Atlanta is built with Moorish architecture. And when you go into it, it was a Masonic lodge, and then I think in the 1970s they turned it into an auditorium where you go and see shows. But when you go to the shows in there, you will see a canopy of stars up in the ceiling, but they got one big star, that's the star Sirius. So the S stood for Sirius, but they said Superman at this particular time because I think they would have got in trouble with the Masonic people and stuff like that and all. But Sirius, and this is why they had to do this thing with Aset and Osiris, because what is Isis? Isis is called the soul of Sirius. Yeah. You see? Yeah. So they had to do this Superman thing to show you who the Superman was. And by doing the Syrians, they're talking about we are the Supermans. Well, let me go to some true stuff because this is what's happening now. Because we can talk about all of this knowledge, but sooner or later this knowledge has to start applying to us, and we got to start turning into something. Well, let me give you some good news. Let me give you some good news. Now, I can talk about my ordeals all day long. Okay. But let me give you some good news. There's a brother named Clemson Brown. Clemson Brown, he owns TAP Productions, Transatlantic Productions. He was the guy that filmed all of the great scholars, Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, everybody. He filmed, if you did speaking either in the historical or the metaphysical, Clemson Brown had you. Okay, so now, this is what happened. Clemson Brown, I think about a month ago, Robert Bouval had came to, because the brother Shabazz had brought him in, and so Clemson Brown was doing the filming. And Clemson Brown got up and said, I'm glad to have this brother Shabazz and all them, because I know they got my back. And then he was driving down the street, a couple of days later, and he went and he had to go to the hospital, and he had a brain hemorrhage.
Yes,
okay, so now check this shit out. Last week, that's about 3 weeks ago or a month ago. So last week, Shabazz called me and said, hey, guess what? Clemson Brown is back in the hospital. And he said, check this out. He said, they got an artery to the brain that oxygenates the brain. And this artery, they say the artery in his brain had quit working some years ago. That's, because if you don't get no oxygen to the brain, you die. This artery was blocked and was quit working years ago. Now check this out. The woman told him, the doctor told him, that we'll see another circle, because this thing comes from your heart to the brain. She said on the other side of where this artery was, on the completely other side, your heart and brain has built a new circulatory system to bring oxygen to the brain, because this other artery been blocked for some years. So what had happened was with him, miraculously, is his heart and his brain made him another set of arteries and a whole circulatory system. Now,
beautiful.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, so check this out. So she said, now this is when she started. Now, so what they have to do, they can't start telling you it's a miracle or miraculous, because then you say, well, I don't need these pharmaceutical shit. And the pharmaceutical runs the industry. They don't even teach, doctors, they don't even teach nutrition in medical school. So what happened was, they don't want you to know that you have the ability to heal yourself. So what happened was his godlike qualities kicked in because he's a god, just like we all are. So what happened was they built him a new circulatory system, and the woman said, oh, yeah, well, sometimes your body has backup. He called me on the phone. She said, sometimes your body has a backup system. I said, all the damn people die with strokes. I said, that's some bullshit. I said, they got to try to explain this thing away, because they know this is some God shit, and they studying him now. You see what I'm saying? So my point here is, I've been talking about the DNA changing for years. This nigga brain done built him a new circulatory system. You see? This is some amazing stuff. So what I want you to do for Halloween, for the people for protection, I want you to get these amulets and stuff, these pictures. It's 4 of them in a set. Now, but for right now, I want you to go out to Party City. I think they got party cities in each city, in each town. You need to go to Party City, because after tomorrow, all the Halloween stuff goes on sale, damn near 50%. So you need to go to Party City, and you need to buy you some gargoyles. You got to get you 2 gargoyles. You see, they're about maybe 12 inches high. About a foot, maybe a little over a foot. And you will need to take those for those people that live in houses and put you 2 gargoyles in front of your house. If you ever ride by white people's house, they got gargoyles. Now, the reason why you want to do that is, a guy this brother that worked at the post office I go to, he was like, no, man, some brothers broke in my house. And it's a new house. He said they took my big screen TV and all this kind of stuff here. And I wanted to tell him, because I don't know what level of consciousness, because if I tell a person ain't kind of, this nigga crazy. And I wanted to tell him, you need to go and get you some gargoyles, because they sell them during Halloween.
They sure do.
And so you need, right, and so what you got to do is you get you some gargoyles, or otherwise you're going to have to go to Lowe's. You know, Lowe's sell them, they're about $40, $50 and stuff or more. You can get some anyway, but right now you can get those for like $12. The gargoyles. Now, what you want to do is put them in front of your house. So what happens with this is this. The gargoyles, see, our earth, before this earth was made into what it was now, we had several other realms of several other spirits that used to rule in a primordial world that was in existence as long as this world has been in existence, this Milky Way. And so those particular deities that used to live in that world now live in another realm, and they're called the old gods.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And this is also what we used to be before we turned into humans. So now what happens here is those gargoyles, what you're really doing when you put those gargoyles out for protection, you're pulling in the energy of some real deities that live in another dimension. You see, now, I got the one from Party City back in 08. So what happened was, the ones I got in 08, I was dreaming. Somebody was coming in the house with a gun. And I ran to the house and trapped the person's hand in the door and turned the gun around and shot the person in the head. Now this was the morning after I put out the two gargoyles. This time, Target sold some bigger ones. They were $20, and they would only sell one. They would only put out one at a time, so we had to go and buy one, and they had to go to another Target and buy another one and stuff. So, and they're all gone now. So they only made a limited few. So anyway, this is what happened. So this was for this Halloween. So we replaced the other ones with the bigger ones from Target. The next morning we woke up, they had some guys out there cutting down a tree. Cutting down these we got these huge trees. And it's damn near an all-day job to bring those trees down. And so anyway, somebody knocked on the door and said, hey, your mailbox is laying out in the street.
Wow. Laying
out in the street. So it was like your mailbox was laying out in the damn street. So they came and they had some shovel to help us dig a hole and put it back down. It's a little lower. I said, but no, that's even better for the mailman because the mail truck is lower. So anyway, what we realized was whatever forces that was around the house, when we put those new gargoyles down, what started happening was those forces got pissed. They got mad. So what they did is they got pissed, and so what they had to do, they just took the mailbox and threw it out in the street. You see, so what I wanted to tell the guy, if you wanted protection, to get you some gargoyles and stuff like that. But I think you can't tell dead people; they think you're crazy. So get you some gargoyles. Now, for people that live in apartments, what you can do is you might be able. Let me see. Let me ask the pendulum. Would it be all right for you to buy some gargoyles and put them on the inside of your door? Or what have you, like that and stuff. Because
right.
Yeah, and all of those things. So let me see. Would that be fine? Yeah, you can put them on the inside for the people that live in apartments. Or if you got a window that faces outside, you can put them in the window. But you got to get you some gargoyles, and right now they still sell them at Party City. You can get them for $12. You see what I'm saying? You can get them for $12. So somebody don't live near Party City, call somebody in a city that does and have them mail you to. But get your gargoyles, you see, for protection also. So that's very key. So let's go on. All right. This is what happened. And this is why I decided within the last year, not to give out no more rituals. Let me tell you what happened. We went to go see the Fela play, off the chain. To come to your city, go see it. And we went through a whole ritual in the Fela play with the Orishas. So when we came back, Reverend Phil Valentine had called about 3 times. So I called him, but it was late at night. So I called him when we got back. So I called him the next day. He said, what I was doing, I was calling you. He said, this girl was trying to get in contact with me to try to get in contact with you. She did a love spell on her man. And as a result of the love spell, she said, as a result of the love spell, the nigga went crazy. And he got it. He ran out into the streets. He ran out into the streets, and he's homeless now, searching for her. You see what I'm saying? To try to get back to her because he just went crazy with this love spell. And I said, well, what happened? She said, she used a combination of your spell, one of Panic's spells, and one of Brother Azariah, Azazel spell. I said, oh, God. I said, first of all, the spell I would give out was one where you put a person's name in honey, but it only lasts for about a month or so, and that gives you the out clause. That gives you the clause. If this guy's an asshole, you see what I'm saying? You know, you can't take a smell of his breath or something. You see what I'm saying? Then what happens here is, if he farts too much or snores and shit like that, it's going to wear off. And it's a benign ritual. It's going to wear off. But she combined this shit, and this nigga went crazy. So what happened was, I had to call a brother brother named Andrew in Chicago, and I said, well, if she did some shit, and I said, well, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I said a lot of those things, the one I gave out is it's a benign one that's gonna get off you in a couple of months if the thing turned out bad. So what happened was, I called to Chicago, and the brother Andrew knows these Paleros. Anybody? A Palero is a priest of Palo Monombe.
Yeah. So
I told him. I said, well, I told Valentine. I said, I don't know. I said maybe she's gonna have. Maybe I don't know what she did. I said I know what mine is about, but I don't know what she did. So when we called the Palero, Brother Andrew called the Palero. Palero said, look, I don't know what she did, but she has to give me the precise measurement of the rituals that she put together. You see? And I said she might be fucked and stuff like that. So Valentine said, well, I didn't get a number. He said, I'm waiting for her to call back, but she never did call back. But what happened was she's messing around. And she's messing around with this thing, and the guy went crazy. So the point about what we're trying to say here is you don't need to be messing with these things if you don't know what the hell you're doing. Now, the fucked up thing about it was this. She was already with the nigga.
Wow.
She just wanted him to pay more attention to her. The guy being into the games or whatever, and, he be doing stuff. He's with you, but no, she wanted him to pay more attention to her, probably how they were when they first fell in love. So she's going to do a special, then God was already with her. You see? So this is some crazy shit that's going on. Some crazy stuff. Now, as we know, October the 21st, we talked about this the last time, that all of the Christ gods supposed to line up. And we had that preacher that talked about how he said that May something, it was supposed to be the end of the world. He said in the second part is,
Go ahead. No.
The second part is supposed to be October the 21st. And we said there's a lineup, and, Obatala, Osiris, El Cristo Negro, Shango, all of them, Quetzalcoatl, Horus, all of them line up on that particular day. So he sent something, but what he didn't realize, these are components, or these are chemicals that line up in you, inside of us. You understand what I'm saying? Inside of us. So the reason why the preacher they got it wrong. They're always getting it wrong with the book of Revelation and stuff because they don't understand that this is an inner mystery and stuff. And these are things that is coming online inside of us. It's the return of the gods in which we happen to be those gods, you see. So not only that, this guy named Ian Longo said October 18th, a lot of people are going to start going crazy. Why? Mm-hmm. Because they said that a lot of these dimensions are lining up.
Yes.
And as a result, you're going to be missing time. You're going to be out of time. And they talk about how you're going to have to learn to get into a zone like a basketball player or like a dancer or like a person that's in the zone. You say, well, how can this man take a shot? He got a couple of thousand people watching him in a goddamn gymnasium or auditorium. And he gets the ball, the clock is ticking down, and he makes a shot and make a perfect shot. That is because he's in the zone.
He's in the zone.
He's in the zone. Yep. You see what I'm saying? I tell you, when you're in the zone, when you're making love, and you think you stroking for a couple of hours, and you look up and you only been stroking for like 15 minutes. You see? That's because you was in the zone. You went to another dimension. You see what I'm saying? Like that. So,
right.
Yeah, so what happened here is they're talking about stuff. So these dates come, and what happened was on the 18th, we got a call from a sister that said, Sister Juliet, she said that on the 28th, hawk swooped down in her backyard and ate the head off a kitten, and the mother cat, which I know these cats, man, they protect them kittens. The mother cat just looked at it like, hey, you supposed to do that. And I said, well, and so what Linda did, she went to the Goddess Book of Days, and she looked up that October 18th is the day that Isis went to find Osiris in the Osirian ritual. That was on the 18th. Of October, excuse me, the 28th of October, the 28th, the other day. So these zones and stuff is actually opening up. You see, is actually opening up. Now another thing is this on these particular zones. Is this the trees now? If you want to know where the hot spots are for healing and different things, is you got to go to the trees. The trees are some of the oldest things on the planet. So around the base of the tree are these dimensions that's opening up. Now, so what happened is we'll have a set of kittens. They'll get a certain age, and then they'll disappear into the tree, and we don't see them no more. And so we woke up one day and all our cats had disappeared into the tree. So we was a little sad about it and shit, because I'm sad about it. I said, because when they get cold, we need them damn cats to keep them rats away. Because we've been having these kittens and these cats since 2006, and they came right before my mother made the transition. We just found some stray cats and started feeding them, and then they started having litters. And so what happened here, we ain't seen no rats. You see what I'm saying? Snakes or anything, they get rid of all that. So we were like, man, when they get cold, we need them fucking kittens. So then all of a sudden, the tree around the dimension put out a new set of kittens.
Yeah.
You see? Now, the first set of kittens that disappeared this summer, it was thundering and storm. It was a thunderstorm, and so we have the burglar bars on the back door, so we kind of leave the door a little cracked. So they were scared, so they was able to get inside the house when they kind of pushed the door open. And when we came in, they was running around the damn house and stuff. And so what happened was we got one of them to go out, and the other one went into a room. Erzuli has a room, and went up under Erzuli's altar. And then, but I looked for him. I said, he must have got past me and got outside. And then we locked the door. We said, they're gone. We came back. He was running around again, and he ran back in the room and ran up under the altar. What had happened was, when he ran up under his altar, it was another dimension, and he disappeared up under her altar. So that's why, and I said, that's one of the keys of having these altars in your house and putting up these altars, because they bring in other dimensions, just like the gargoyle bring in the old gods for protection. You see what I'm coming from? So as a result, the trees is where they have all of They have all of the energies. Now, they cut down 3 trees, 3 big-ass trees in front of my house about a month ago. But the key here is it doesn't matter because what they did is they opened up a dimension. They opened up a doorway just by cutting them down. And I remember this, too. They were taking magic mushrooms up in Detroit, a conscious group. And one guy, when he took the mushrooms, the trees got after his ass. The trees got after him, and he was in the tree. He was running from the trees. Guess what he did for a living? He cut down trees.
Wow.
So we talk about the spirit thing. So this is what's happening. You want to, so anything you want to deal with, you need to go and start dealing with the trees. You see what I'm saying? Now there's a book you need to get called. The name of that book is called The Tree of Enchantment. The Tree of Enchantment by Orion Foxwood. Foxwood. But Orion, Orion, Orion Foxwood. So the trees are the keys and stuff, and that's where the spirits and all of that's coming from. Now, remember that last October on Halloween, we had these dogs barking and all during Halloween night, and then the dogs never went away, and they barked till the end of the year. We got owls and stuff. So there's a whole lot of things that's happening, and we're coming back online. We're coming back online. So it's just interesting here. It's just interesting here on how this thing is actually what we're dealing with here. So is any questions or anything right quick before